Thank you very much, Emma. Now, it's pretty hard to be cool in the royal family, but Prince Harry manages it. He has such savoir-faire, and we love him in this country. I almost screwed up saying savoir-faire, which doesn't show much savoir-faire. Helen, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Prince Harry, we love him, don't we? You had him on the cover, and it did incredibly well.
Yeah, look, it did do very well. He is one of the most popular royals, and we did a bit of research on it beforehand, but he is just loved universally, and he's got one of those sweet spots at the moment where he can do whatever he likes. He can be a little bit naughty, and we sort of go, well, he's not going to be king, so it doesn't really matter, and why wouldn't he enjoy himself?
Like Princess Margaret did.
Well, a bit like that, yeah, but he had that period in his life where there was a lot of talk about him being the wild child. He was caught smoking cannabis, he was out in nightclubs, he was getting angry with the photographers, and then he sort of grew up and he sort of grew into that a little bit, and yes, he gets caught in Vegas, but we don't care anymore. We just kind of love the guy.
We loved it when he was in Vegas having a good time, and why wouldn't he? And I think that's part of his charm, isn't it?
Well, I was interested then how the weekly readers would react to that, because it's essentially a conservative magazine, but no, totally, he was private time, none of our business, leave the guy alone, and I tend to agree with that.
Of course, he has to put up with the interest in his private life and questions about when he'll marry, and safe to say no one will be happier than you when he does have a relationship, because well, he does have a relationship, but when he does marry, because people will take a lot of interest in that, won't they?
Yeah, and we like Chelsea Davy, the girlfriend he's had for some time, and I think the general consensus is it's just too hard for her. She can't do what Catherine's done. She doesn't want the attention, and so she's kind of walked away from it, and everyone sort of feels some sort of sympathy for Harry that he can't have that relationship. But he does have a new girlfriend in Cressida, and there's a lot of talk about whether that's headed towards an engagement, and whether the timing of that. Now, I don't know. I have absolutely zero idea whether that's the case. He is only 29, so he's probably got a few more years before the pressure really comes on him, but he has talked about his want for a relationship and for whoever that person is to be able to cope with the pressure, and we know William went through the same thing with Catherine, and you've got to feel for him a little bit.
Exactly. They're born to a life of privilege, but really they're born into a role in which they have no choice. And
no choice.
I thought about that with Catherine, the Duchess of Cambridge. Her son has his life mapped out for him. He cannot do anything he wants to do. It is a wonderful role, I guess, but I'm sure that both young men who have handled it with grace had to work their way towards accepting that they don't have that choice that other people have.
When you read some of the history books on the life of the Queen, for example, she has given up everything for public service. Every single minute of their day is about doing something that makes you, as a member of the public, feel good about meeting them. And Harry seems to have stepped into that role, just like William has, and they acknowledge him. He's flying back to Dubai after here. He's raising money for kids with HIV/AIDS, and he's really committed to that situation in Africa. So it looks like, whilst he loves his work in the military, and that's obviously a reprieve to some extent, that they have come to terms with that is their role in life, and it is a big call. It's an extraordinary life that they lead, and you wouldn't really wish it on anybody, I don't think.
Well, Princess Mary will one day be a queen, and she has done such a sterling job of being a consort to a prince that, Cressida seems a nice girl, but,
You're
an
not
Australian
sure.
girl could do a good job too.
Well, an Australian girl.
saying.
I did love the Daily Telegraph putting two and two together and saying Harry's here and he's going to meet the Abbott daughters, which is just,
Well, you never know, do you?
Well, he probably will meet the Abbott daughters, and I have had the luck and the privilege of meeting those girls, and they are terrific girls. Like, they're fun and they're smart and they're glamorous and they're down to earth. So
and they know what it's like to be in the spotlight.
And I don't know if they know fully. They're learning now, but you can imagine them at Kirribilli House tonight, having a laugh, watching the fireworks and a glass of champagne. So imagine that for me.
Oh, Helen,
imagine that for me.
It's all about you, and I want whatever makes you happy for the Australian Women's Weekly.
Well, it's not. It's the magazine, It does make my life easier when I've got a great cover, though.
All right, you just sit back and soak up the Prince Harry headlines, and thanks for coming on the show.
Always a pleasure.